Oh, and we are back. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Ready to
Brad,
get things started.
will be in a minute here.
We are waiting on, and we are having technical difficulties.
He even
We are
sent
still,
us what he's drinking.
we are still new to this game, so we are doing our best
Yep.
to learn as we go. And yes, he is frozen out of his login to be a part of our podcast or fireside chat tonight. So we'll give him a little bit of a break, and he can hop in when he arrives.
What are you
Well,
drinking tonight?
welcome back. What's that?
What are you drinking tonight?
I'm going with the Bowman Brothers tonight,
Again.
Virginia. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that, and then I'm gonna have to go make some more purchases and pick up a few new things. I did, however, try some gin this past weekend
Really?
from a distillery here in Virginia that did like it was really good actually.
Dude, I have never been a gin. Like I don't. I feel like I need to be 80 years old.
Yeah, so this was a distillery that does whiskey and bourbon. They do
Yeah.
they do bourbon and gin. And it's like American gin, which is different than, I believe, whatever, English, Irish, Scottish, whatever it is, gin, right? It's like this is a specific. It's got a more floral profile, and it tasted almost like vodka-ish,
Yeah.
to a certain extent. But it was good. And one of them was aged in barrels, so it actually had like a kind of a caramelly type flavor, which is very interesting. So, anyways, so I was.
Do you just drink gin, just straight?
This was a tasting. So it was just straight, but you could mix it like you would any other gin, right, or any other type of mixed drink. Just like you can with bourbon too. But I was drinking it straight. One was 114 proof. It was pretty strong, and that was a little bit alcohol-y. But the caramel, the kind of the aged one in oak had a cool flavor to it. So, anyways, yeah. But yeah, so we're back in the fold here after taking a week or two off, I think.
Father's Day was good.
Father's Day was good. It was good. Yeah, I mean it was
it good?
was a nice weekend. Yeah, so we still back in the game in terms of trying to stay abreast of technologies and things that are happening. There's always interesting stuff to discuss because there's always fascinating things happening. And we try and keep things, real time here. So we're looking at stuff that we're seeing, on the day, or at least within the last week, that might kind of find interesting. So,
yeah, I think the moral of the story. I mean, what we do is we kind of more of a fireside chat, review the past week, or in this case, couple of weeks of articles, content, stuff that's come across our desk, and we give our take on it. And I think that we're boots on the ground. We're on the front lines of marketing, branding, development, and even Web3. And Web3, by no means are we experts in it. We're just going through the journey. We're learning as much as we can, as a lot of other people are. So we pretty much, every week we want to just give you our take. And,
it's kind of a learning curve that we're going through here. So we're trying to, again, bring some of these things that we're reading about and learning about back to what our kind of specialties are, in terms of giving you our 2 cents, which hopefully has some value and actually can provide some kind of insight beyond what you just are reading, or even just kind of bring some things to everyone's attention that we're seeing out there. So we tend to we've been kind of going with this lens of forward thinking tech and crypto and NFT stuff, but ultimately we also want to still pay attention to what's happening. And I hate to say it, which is ironic to use the term more traditional methods when you talk about digital marketing even. But that's kind of, whereas print and out of home and stuff, radio, television used to be traditional, quote unquote, traditional media in terms of the comparison to digital marketing. Now digital marketing is actually kind of somewhat traditional, and social media marketing is somewhat traditional when you look at all these new techniques. And I mean, we can, even just dropping right into some of the things that we've learned about, even just or we've read about this week when it comes to brands starting to really kind of integrate NFTs into their branding and marketing processes. I mean, we've been talking about this for a month and a half now, and probably even longer than that in terms of, you know, using those for branding and marketing kind of purposes. And I think you're starting to see a lot more Fortune 500 companies get involved with those things. And it's in interesting ways too. I mean, you have everything, you know, we're looking at everything from, Chevy Corvettes giving out NFTs or selling NFTs and then giving away cars to what? Macy's giving out 10,000 free fireworks as NFTs to their clients. So, you know, we can bring some of those up.
Medical research field with cancer.
Medical research, right? Yeah. So here, there are three things we just noticed, and we can kind of dig in a little bit deeper on all three of these. But medical, cancer research, right? So the one project put together was going to be using actual NFTs of the actual cancer cells in a patient to then sell and to try and raise money for the treatment of that patient. So there's a direct correlation to selling the NFT to using that money and those funds for their cancer treatment, which is, again, this, you know, we've been kind of talking about, you know, using philanthropic components to our NFT collections with our brands. And that's a pretty interesting example of it, and how it can kind of be used as almost a crowdsourcing tool that ultimately has value again, right, in the long term. So instead of just crowdsourcing something where you're trying to generate funds and raise funds, here's a situation where you're selling a cool concept, right? I mean, in essence, you're selling this NFT, whatever it may be, but here's something that actually is unique and truly unique and relevant to the person that's selling it. And then the money that they're taking, they're going to go and use for treatment. And then ultimately, the person that bought it can resell it, you know, and then that, though I'm sure there's going to be a component of those funds which are going to go back to continuing to fund that treatment, right? So instead of the user getting that cut, it's going to keep funding back in. And that's actually interesting because can you pull that one up? Because I don't know if that says anything in there about if all proceeds for the lifetime sale of that go directly to the sourcing, right? Because then you're talking about it could be traded infinitely, right? And then it is a crowdsourcing tool, right? Your crowdfunding, right? Where it's like, hey, Zach, here's this thing of my, my friend. I bought it, right? The money went to them. You want to buy it from me? And then that money's going to go to them too. And then someone else buys it from you, and that money goes to them as well. So it's kind of another kind of interesting tool for that. But this just shows that there's so many different ways that you can use this.
Yeah. So it's remission rate of up to 40%. It doesn't totally go into. I'm sure we can
details of it. Yeah, I mean, we're just thinking kind of 10,000 foot on a lot of these things, but you don't need that. If you want, obviously, you can research it and probably find out more if it's interesting to you.
Yeah. But, again, we would go to buymycancer.org
and read more about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, it's a cool. You're always thinking about cool new ways to, utilize the new technology.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a very, interesting way to do it. But we're seeing that a lot of people are starting to kind of, and then so there's that, okay, on one side, which is obviously deeper and has more, moral value than, buy an NFT of a Chevy Corvette and they'll give you the car, but it's a marketing tool like anything else. It's very fascinating. Yeah, just very interesting stuff.
Brad should be on here in a minute. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, standing 6'5", weighing 175 pounds, the one, the only, Bradley Baker.
I hope your stats are more than 175 pounds at 6'5". Otherwise, we got to get you to eat something.
I am pretty lean.
That's pretty amazing, though.
I'm like 185.
Okay. You missed out on our intro. We were talking about just NFTs in marketing and how we're starting to see more and more brands are using them for marketing purposes now. They are starting to catch up a little bit in that, right? We talked.
Brad, what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
Right. I got this whiskey called Glyph for Father's Day.
Ooh, nice. Glyph, like a hieroglyph,
So,
or like so that's interesting.
like
Look at that, for the
hieroglyphs.
designer. For the
Where's it
designer.
from?
I'm gonna pop
Or
that
petroglyphs,
tonight.
if you will.
Where is it out of?
Ancient Egypt.
Where was it? Bottled by Endless West, California. But
Interesting.
yeah, they're supposed to get all sciencey with the spirits, and so you can go in and kind of select your level of smoke, your level of sherry, spice, vanilla, and so you can
cool.
see each bottle kind of has like how much of each they're
Nice.
going in on. So
That's interesting.
Let's see. Let's
I
see
don't know
what
how
it
that
tastes.
works, but that's kind of cool.
And of course, I got my
There you go, the special glass.
I love this thing.
That's a great glass.
I don't know if I should probably try it neat first, but what are you guys drinking?
I'm just doing the Bowman Brothers, the same one.
Wyoming whiskey.
Bowman.
Wyoming. How's the Wyoming?
I love the Wyoming. It's just it's consistent. I can count on it. The Wyoming and the Woodford.
Dude,
Yeah.
so
The Woodford,
I realized last time my father-in-law, he makes cool whiskey glasses out of the Wyoming whiskey bottles.
Oh, really?
He like cuts them off, and he
Yeah.
Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Oh, you got one?
I got it in Jackson. I think it's Keys Liquor Store.
Nice,
cool.
dude. Yeah. If you wanted a couple more, my father makes them.
Well, and I was actually thinking today, we talked about it before, but I want us to have our own glasses.
That would be cool too.
Consumer media glasses would be great.
If only we knew of a glass person.
Yeah. Someone who could blow glass.
Someone who could blow
Only we
glass.
knew.
If only we knew. That's a little inside joke, everyone. Don't bury it in detail.
That's nice.
Is it?
So anyway, so going back to then, is it good, Brad?
Really good. And very smooth, sweet.
That makes me want some of that.
Brad, so we were talking. First we got into medical science a little bit on this. How you can buy and somebody, funding somebody cancer treatment by purchasing an NFT.
Right.
We're just starting to see where the charitable aspect is going. Pretty cool.
Yeah. It seems like every project kind of has that. It's almost a given that there's a charitable piece.
Well, and what we were saying is that what a cool idea for crowdfunding to a certain extent, and the question is, which we don't know. This is, again, we're speculating. We're kind of giving you 10,000 foot thoughts on this, but does it, every time it turns over, does all the proceeds go back to that person? You know what I mean? Instead of it being like a percentage, the originator continually gets the funding. So in essence, it's a tool for fundraising, really, as opposed to anything other than that. I don't know. I mean, I think there's just a lot of cool things you could probably do with it, if it was truly an altruistic, purpose, right? Yeah. If you're like, look, I don't care about making money, so therefore, say, I buy one because my buddy's, it's my buddy's cancer, so I pay for it. I buy the NFT and I say, hey, Brad, this guy, Bill, we both know him. Like, you buy it for me, and that money goes to him. And you go to someone else and say, hey, dude, you buy it for me, and that money goes to him to take care of him. So it's not just like I'm not making a profit. I'm not making, a 10% cut. He's not making a 10% cut. He's making 100% of the proceeds, right?
Right.
And it's more just using that type of mentality, which again, it just is using the technology for a higher purpose than just, well, yeah, we'll give them 10% of the profits, which might be more in a business kind of focused endeavor. So I think that's just, there's some cool, potential there for that. But
yeah, it just depends on how much budget there is for the project, and a lot of these projects that are starting have been like shoestring startups. And so now that we're seeing bigger brands coming into it, they can have that because there is a big upfront to get everything set up and as we know, the art and
Yeah.
the smart contract, and there's a lot that goes into it. So even if Joe Schmo is going to get 100%, he's still got to come up. Somebody's got to fund him.
Someone's got to
somehow.
fund it. Yeah. And it's like, at what point is it funding the project worth, would that money be better spent just going straight to the cause? I can see that. Right.
Right. Because it might be $100,000 to get a project like this going.
Well, the question is, maybe is it a foundation that does it and says, look, I'm going to get all the stuff set up, and therefore we can do 100 patients. You know what I mean? Once the system's in place, right? Once the contracts are kind of the basic groundwork's done, and it's just a matter of buying the artwork instead of buying, so you have 1,000 different pieces of art. It's 1,000 different cancer people that are tracked back to that specific person who gets, I don't know, you'd have to, obviously the smart contract would have to write all that stuff in it, but
right.
It's just, it's just nice to see,
There's platforms like that, like Rally, which supports the creators, so that we might be seeing a lot more platforms, and there might even be one out there already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With kind of you go in like a GoFundMe, but it's NFT based.
Yeah. That's just interesting.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating.
But tons of brands coming on with, Chevy and GM doing the Corvette thing. And they really went out there and got a cool artist too, which was surprising.
Yeah, that's right.
So I feel like, man, we're like this on the same wavelength as some of these marketing departments at like Chevy or.
Well, my question would be, do you feel like we've hit critical mass as far as, because you have these massive brands coming in, it's almost like there's no coming back. It's just, everyone's going to get into it and figure it out as they get into it.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing also is that this vet that these guys are putting out there, it's like it's going to be the only one that's going to be available in this minted green color. So it's a one of a kind car that's going to. So at the same time, there's value. It's just
a one-off.
It's like, but into them, what's the difference? It's like it's free. It's like that's so easy.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
For them, it's one car. Like, come on, like it's a no-brainer.
Right.
Like it's like we always talk about clients give us a free this, give away a free that. For them, it's a marketing cost, right? So, and it's a very cheap marketing cost.
Absolutely.
And it's poignant, right? So, to them, it's like probably the cheapest possible advertising tool they can come up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? There's not much.
And I wonder what their ROI will be on it. We really,
it's eyeballs. To them, it's probably eyeballs.
It's eyeballs and educating their audience.
Yeah. And being like, wow, that is a cool car, right? And also being relevant, right? Being modern. Like I'm in Corvette country out here, right? I mean, I assume I'm trying to think if maybe Zach I don't know if Arizona's vet country or not, but we're certainly not Euro sports cars, really. I mean, it's a little bit, but it's definitely Americana, right? So I've seen a lot of vets cruising around here, and I'm like, I've always been a European sports car guy. So to me, it's like, oh, okay, vets were always kind of the janky, like low budge kind of thing, right? Where it's like, it's not really a sports car, but even though the new ones now are amazing. I mean, I've seen some at the auto show too. I mean, it's like if they're trying to make it like cool and push a coolness factor too with, younger, who's that, Val Kilmer? Younger demographic, like what a great tool for that.
Yeah.
So I think
the one I love the artist piece where he's like taking off his skin. It's like a hoodie. It's crazy.
That's gross, but yes, very
cool. The Corvette's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Starting price 206 ETH.
Really? Which is times 3 probably, right? Times 3,000. Was it two? What was it closing?
No, it's like 1,100 or maybe.
Yeah. Is it down that low now?
Oh yeah.
So let's all put bets on what Bitcoin is going to hit, what the low on Bitcoin is going to hit at, because I think we all agree that it's going to go back up at one point, right? Everybody raise their hand if you think that Okay, raise your hand if you think
Are
crypto
we
is
close
going
to the
to go
pin
by
here?
the wayside and going to be gone.
Well, what if you listen to we listen to DARPA? Maybe they know something we don't, right? Did you read that article?
I didn't read the DARPA.
The most
Yeah.
and we wanted actually your input on it because the DARPA article says they were like, you know, it's not as decentralized as you may think, right? That's the reality, which is that it's like there are only a handful of larger consortiums that are managing all this data, and therefore it is more easy than you think for it to be corrupted. And that's their take on it, right? Not that it's not that it would ever happen necessarily. However, the opportunity is there because it's not because of the fact that it's controlled by X amount of groups worldwide, right? So it's just fascinating because I think the whole concept that everyone buys into is that it's a, it's like a hive, right? But the reality is it's actually much more contained nodes of groups. So it's just interesting. Of course, DARPA, when DARPA talks, you listen because they're the smartest guys in the room.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean that is the reality of it all.
So will it? Well, I mean, does it drop? Does it peter? Does it? I mean, is it going to tank? Or I mean, I think it will come back because I think the concept is still one that people are interested in. But they were saying what DARPA's saying is that when you have people like Wall Street and stuff get involved and kind of manipulate it a little bit, it becomes a little bit more.
Well, and let's think of it at how it goes into the metaverse, because the metaverse is pushing pretty hard, right? And so we know that a lot of gaming, what should I say, gaming tactics
Engine.
or functionality is spilling over into the metaverse, and how we're doing tokenization is directly from these games that we're seeing kids play, and so I feel like the monetary piece is really going to drop out of it all, and it'll just be monetary, and within these economies for the brands. So like, if you want to be an Adidas, you're going to have some Adidas coin, and maybe it won't be worth too much monetarily, but the way you have to earn it is, through, you don't pay for it. You have to be part of the community, and you earn it through gamification and through these interactions you have with the brand. So
can't you, that coin can still have value 10, 15, 20 years from now, right?
Yeah, and maybe who knows how it gets tied back monetarily.
Yeah.
But, and like how they put it to the dollar, and I highly doubt that you couldn't ever not buy it. But, we'll see how people start to build their own blockchains and use the technology for their own communities instead of kind of glomming onto these Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
Because really, we could still do all this NFT stuff if crypto was worth nothing, right?
Yeah.
I think people would still be jumping on, but just for the verification and trading wallet to wallet, that technology is just cool.
Point. Yeah. And again, the airdropping and the rewards programs that can be built off of them, where your people are more connected. Your brand ambassadors are way more connected to the brand.
Right. Like, what was the brand that was giving away the free NFTs? Macy's, right?
Macy's, 10,000 free fireworks NFTs. Yeah.
That was a good.
So what are they doing there? But there's giving these away, but they just want the people to get involved, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
exactly.
they're reaching out for that younger community, a whole nother. They're going to get 10,000 loyal followers now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, yeah. So here's I mean, so the way I see that is that it's like, look, you have in essence a very small development cost, right?
Yep.
To get how much buzz are they getting out of free publicity, right? And then getting people into kind of that space, right? But ultimately, it's for free publicity. It's just like they're like, look, we need to be relevant. We need to get this is the relevant buzz that's going on right now. How easy is it? Is just instead of worrying about selling it, like let's just give it to them for free, because ultimately we just want people to take them. and get them. And then that requires engagement, right? So now you have probably what they're seeing is they're not like resonating with that audience in the first place. So they're like, hey, here's a great way to get our brand in front of these people.
Yeah.
And we'll just give it to them for free. Are they likely to come in and buy stuff at Macy's? No, but you know what? They may never even thought to go to Macy's prior to that.
Yeah.
So now they're like, yeah, I'll take it's like a free, it's like a gimme. They're probably like, I'll fill my wallet with a free Macy's NFT. Maybe it'll be worth something, maybe it won't, but it's free. So what's the worst it's going to cost me?
Yep.
And what would be really smart of Macy's is to have that utility built in on the back end where you get thrown into special monthly discounts or seasonal discounts by owning it. And for them giving it away, well, maybe I don't shop at Macy's, sell it to somebody. And again, what's that about? Where's that value with that?
Right.
Discounts or utility. Or Macy's parade access.
Or I was going to say,
well,
maybe they just do fewer events for those 10,000 people, and it's like a party at the Chicago Macy's,
And dude, it could be a dry run.
Yeah,
it's totally a dry run.
It could be a dry run for something to do with the parade. I bet you. Don't Mark. I bet you next year, come Thanksgiving, there's going to be something good. They'll be.
We got to get if they're doing this. Let's get one of the get on the Discord because
if they're doing NFT stuff.
Yeah. When's their drop? Did you see that? Anybody see the drop on
July 4th? I didn't see the drop, but it's for July 4th, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be happening.
Well, here's right here. Does it say there?
Now?
Learn more. Oh,
I think it was July something. July
first
4th,
10,000 to join Discord and register.
Well, and look, and again, I mean, now they're going to be, boosting up their social media. People are going to be following them more. It's a really nice entry for marketing.
Yeah, so
because that's the thing. It's just for these guys who have endless amounts of money. Like it's so foolish not to be like just like it's free. It's like any publicity is good publicity. It's like just get in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
It's still 1,000 times cheaper. It's content, right? At the end of the day, it's content. But the fact that it's being repropagated on various websites, even just promoting it, it's in people are talking about it, and to them it's like, hey. For the couple of $100,000 it costs us to develop this program, even if it's $1 million it costs them, which probably for someone like them it will cost them much because they're going to pay for everything, because that's what those companies do. And even if it's $1 million for the eyeballs that they got, to them it's $1 million for an ad campaign. Ad campaigns are more than $1 million.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well, what's your cost per acquisition on this? Is nothing. Pretty low.
No, super low.
Well, yeah.
For 10,000.
And again, you're getting 10,000 people that are more likely to engage with your brand than any other kind of giveaway. And it's probably people that you don't normally have a touch with anymore. Like you don't have access to them.
Total new audience.
Yeah. That you want. Young, 18 to 24, right? And that's the deal.
Here's the thing, though, is interesting. They're pushing them into the Discord channel, right? How many of these 10,000 are gonna have a wallet set up? Are gonna know?
That's the point, though. That's the point.
Yeah.
Who they're trying to get is people that already have a wallet set up. You know what I mean? To them, they don't want my mom to go in there and set up a Discord channel. That's not who they're trying to get.
Well, no, I totally agree. But I'm wondering, how are they going to connect those? Because their audience is typically going to be older. And
that's the point. That's what they're saying. So they're going to say, look, by giving out these, so their goal is that if we give out free stuff, it's free, that has a value. So there will be, it's potential. If all of a sudden these things become like a hot commodity, they're going to increase in value, right? And it's free. It's just free money. So their point is, we want to get it to people that already are in the game, that understand the value of it, the potential value of it. They're not engaging with our brand outside of anything, right? So this is the only way we're going to get those people to think we're cool. It's a coolness factor. And smart for Macy's, because Macy's is a tired brand. It'd be like Sears doing it, dude, and being like, hey, great. And that would be brilliant for Sears.
Sears to team up with Tim Allen.
Right?
Do an NFT project.
Any of those guys.
You're grabbing a whole new audience and you're bringing them in. But my only comment is, I think because we tend to really overthink everything, But it's okay. So you're saying your first 10,000 people to join our Discord. Well, how many, Karens, for lack of a better, are even if it's 20%, even if it's 2,000 people somehow log in and join a Discord, I wonder what their education process on setting up a wallet. I'd be curious on what channels they have of guiding people on how they can access their NFT.
And the question is, do they care?
I mean, if you're a brand, we would care, right?
No, but what I'm saying is, if they're, again, look at who they're trying to attract. So to them, it's probably like, great. I'm glad that they don't know how to do it. I'm glad they don't know how to do it because it's not for them.
But their statement is the first 10,000 people to join our Discord. That's all I'm saying. So I wonder if here's
a lot of people, you think?
Yeah. Well, here's where my mind's going. Right. We want to start one of our missions that we just threw out there was to educate or bring in 1 million new wallets. Right. Start educating people on Web3 and crypto. Because when you run the numbers, there's a small fraction amount of people that actually are owning NFTs and understand crypto or any of this stuff anyways. I think what they're doing is brilliant. Don't misunderstand. I'm just saying, when we dial into stuff, we're crossing our T's and we're dotting our I's because
for sure. But what I'm arguing with you about is that I would say, I don't want those people.
I know.
My 10,000 I'm laser focused. Listen, I'm laser focused on people that are already in the game, because that's who I can't get anywhere else, right? Versus the people that I'm not trying to bring other people into my tent. I already can bring them into my tent through all the other stuff we're doing. They got those demographics covered. What they want is young people that are in this space that don't shop here, that are shopping at cooler places. And they're saying, look, this is my way to crack through to them. And that's what I want. Totally. And if I give out 1,000 of them, that's fine. If I give out 500 of them, it doesn't matter. It's 500 new people in that age demographic that I don't normally touch anyway.
They don't have, you're exactly right, Eric. Dude, so guess what? I went through the whole registration. I went on Discord. I went through the check marks and I got the link, and they just give you a link, and it goes to a link called Premint. So it's a whole platform, and they're using premint.xyz, Macy's/Macy's NFT, but you connect your wallet, but registration's already closed. They've already got 10,000.
They already got 10,000. See?
Yeah.
And we read about it today. Now, I don't know, when did it post? Did it say when this thing was posted?
It was June 20th, 2 days ago.
So 2 days ago, and 10,000 people in 2 days.
Easy, I'm sure they got that.
And you know what, dude? And they're not educating anybody.
Yeah, no.
You're right. They're not doing shit, Eric. You're right.
You've been proven wrong in real time, Zach.
Hey, all I'm saying is, who's following Macy's on Twitter?
10,000 people.
Nobody.
But I bet you this got.
How many do they got? How many did they have?
Here's where I was going with this. As far as in the Discord channel, is there any educational tools, right?
Well, they have. I mean, they got sort of. Here's their channel.
Everything that you were saying. You're arguing.
I'm only talking about. I'm not trying to be. I'm saying I'm only specifically citing this situation. I agree with you 100% the rest of the time. Like, you have to you definitely. This is a specific thing where I don't think they want to educate you. I think they're looking for specifically people that already know what they're doing, because that's an audience they don't crack anywhere else. So they're willing to say, I'm not going to waste my time with education. If you can't figure it out, you're not this. If you can't figure it out, you're not who I'm looking for. So I don't want you getting involved. I'm not going to spend my time educating you, because you're not the person I'm looking for. I get you with my Sunday circular, or I get you with my advertisements, or even the parade, right?
Yeah.
So Macy's only has 900,000 followers. They don't even have 1 million.
Only 900,000. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're hurting. They're not hurting for eyeballs. But what they are hurting for is young kids. They're hurting for young kids in this space that are buying cool clothes other places, that are not going to Macy's to buy, their stuff.
Yeah.
And to them, it's like, dude, what's the cheapest way to get in front of those people? Meet them where they live. And if they sold these, they would never sell them. They would never sell. They would never sell unless it was, even if they bought Bored Apes and sold them again, no one would buy them from Macy's.
No, I agree with that.
So the point is, they can only make a buzz by giving them away for free,
Yep.
which is brilliant. I mean, it's just smart, you know.
Yep.
And I would say this is the same model that should be used for any brand that's struggling to get in front of those people.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know, well, Corvette doesn't have the same issues, right? Corvette's not worried about getting in front of these because most of those people can't afford it, right? However, to them, it was people that are seriously interested will buy the NFT, right? Because you want a Corvette and you think it's a cool way to get your Corvette, right? So yes, maybe a Corvette audience is a crypto bro, right? Who wants that vet, right? But they're going to have money to be able to pay for it. They're not trying to they're not an uncool brand is what I'm getting at.
Does anyone else find this odd? 12 retweets, 2 quoted tweets, and 45 likes?
Well, they sold 10,000, but I don't want to talk about it. They wanted to get in there before they ran out of space.
Huh.
Interesting.
But just a very fascinating. That's like, you know, hey, and they're sold out, right? Sold out in a matter of 2 days from advertising. I don't know when they officially, if this was the first promotion of it or what, but.
Well, think about what their mailing list is.
I was thinking too. I could see them hitting their mailing list pretty hard. I mean, it looks like they posted it twice on Twitter. You know,
I bet they
have 900,000
people they can email.
I'm sure their Facebook is a much larger audience.
That too, right? So millions of people, and you only want 10,000. To them, that's a penny, right?
Yeah.
That's like such an infinitesimal amount of people, or percentage-wise, of their audience. They're like, yeah, we could. And again, that's why they're not educating. They're probably not spending 1 second longer than they needed to, and they're like, we just got to get to the people that we don't normally touch, and we're not. It's different than their social media audience.
Yeah,
because it's like a coolness level higher. It's like, you know, it's like that next level of coolness that they're like, we're just not cracking those people. Those are the people that wear like vintage, you know, thrift store stuff and like cool, like stuff that they're like finding in cool, you know, cool off brands and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah.
So this, if anything, is a really brilliant marketing approach. Like, kudos to them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, again, this could apply to any brand that's struggling to resonate with their audience, with this audience, I should say.
Yeah. Cool.
And it was poignant, right? It was about fireworks. It was fireworks for the 4th of July. That's their thing, right? It'd be like saying, if they pulled it out in Thanksgiving, it would be, we're giving you balloons, right? Like it could be like the different balloons in the parade.
Yeah.
You know? And something and don't be surprised if you see that too.
Well, if you go on, Eric, it looks like they were saying in the welcome channel that they have. Let me go back to it real quick. Welcome to the official Macy's Discord server, blah, blah, blah. The ultimate place to talk everything Macy's NFT. Where was that? Shoot. It was talking about if you own a Macy's, if you're a Thanksgiving Parade NFT holder, you'll want to join the Parade NFT channel by validating your NFT ownership through the Collab Land Join channel. In order to verify NFTs, will need to be moved off the Sweet.io blah, blah, blah effects. So yeah, they've already done Thanksgiving Parade NFTs.
There you go.
They did that last year already, Brad?
Maybe they did. That would be amazing if they did last year. That means they were right on point.
So So here's what I would say. They already, they pretty much remarketed to their Discord channel, right?
I bet you're right. Yeah. How many can we tell? How many people?
I mean, their claim is the first 10,000 join our Discord register. But if you're already a part of the Discord channel, then all you got to do is register. They already have their base.
Can you
Can
tell
they
how many
control it,
people
though?
are on channel?
Yeah. Can they control it based on date, like to join after this date? I bet you they could.
I mean,
So if
that
you're
would
already a member, you don't have access.
I mean, that would really, to bolster in.
Maybe there was an alt. Maybe there was an alt. You don't know if there was a different release. They could have done another 10,000 for their They could have been a release just for their existing Discord members.
Yeah, this would have been really cool to see it from start to finish.
That we never saw. Yeah, it could have been only directed straight to them through the Discord channel. Like, hey, we're giving out fireworks NFTs. You know what I mean? Here you go. Register. Blah 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 or something. And then again, it serves the purpose as getting new leads, right? It's a prospecting gem.
Yeah.
So that's, maybe it is only isolated to new signups.
I mean, they just set their server up on June 17th.
So maybe that's maybe their Thanksgiving ones is just an arbitrary thing in terms of like
upcoming. Maybe?
It didn't look like they had their Discord channel for the Thanksgiving one.
They do or do not?
Did not, because it looks like all this was just set up in Discord on June 17th is the earliest stuff I'm seeing posted. Here's the June 16th, but the welcome
is that specific to the fireworks one?
It's just the Macy's Discord channel, so no. Collab join. All just was started on the 16th.
Fascinating.
Yeah, very cool.
Well,
interesting.
We have to beat this dead horse, but that's interesting. Yeah, that just shows you a really smart way to get in front of your audience, right? Good for them. Pivoting to non-NFT based stuff, perhaps, to maybe not kill people with boredom.
Yeah, I thought I was loving the Facebook getting fined or Meta getting fined until I found out it was only $100,000.
Wow, that just shows you the lack of teeth on any of those, And again, what's the cost of doing business to them? It's like, fine, okay, can we move along now, please?
Well, yeah, it's a settlement. Right?
It's like a slap on the wrist.
It's like a registration fee, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like a tax. Exactly, it's like a tax. It's like, fine, okay, we'll pay you your tax. Let's come and keep going. And I'm sure they know that because that's probably as far as they push things all the time.
And what I'm referencing is the housing market. So there was a suit against Meta. Yeah, settles with the U.S. government over ad targeting enabled house discrimination. So, yeah, just like any other ads, you could kind of target to people. And
okay, so as a company as us who are well versed in real estate marketing, and I've done for 20 plus years, that's always been something that you got to be careful with, which is your equal housing opportunity guidelines, right? Which is so much so that it's not just the language you use, it's the photography and imagery used that has to be it's just to show representation of all genders. Or you don't
it's the algorithm.
And now it has to do with how you're purchasing ads and who you're targeting. So you can't specifically target, just like you can't in a publication, you can't say in your ad, I'm looking for, renting an apartment, only, single, male in this age group, Caucasian or whatever gender, whatever ethnicity. You cannot specifically call that out. It has to be completely, open, right? And you can't even allude towards a preference as a landlord of selecting one over another, because that gets you in deep trouble. So here's the thing: you cannot add, because what we've learned with digital marketing and digital advertising in the real estate space, the best part of that technology is the ability to specify your demographic and your target. So this is saying that you can't do that. Really, you have to. You're kind of limited on what you can do in terms of segmenting your audience for where your ads show up.
So what would be the fine if you did that and you weren't Facebook?
Well, it'd probably be still $100,000. It would just be harder for somebody else to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, this is like a nickel.
Or is the fine? Is the fine on
it's
behalf?
Equivalent to buying a Snickers bar.
One thing is is the fine on behalf of the fact that they were allowing it to happen. You follow what I'm saying? It's not to the individuals that were doing it. It's that Facebook is defined because they allowed the algorithm to do that.
Yeah, well, it went against the
But if
guidelines.
you're a firm, let's say you're a marketing firm and you allow that marketing to happen.
I think honestly,
what kind of fine would you get?
I think it's ignorance. I think at this point it's ignorance, because you're like, well, the tool allowed me to do that. I had no control over the tool, algorithm searching out those groups, right? So that's why it's like, I think more the fine happens on the Facebook side, which is you guys can't search that way.
Yeah.
The tool we were using was
being discriminatory.
Exactly.
So which is interesting now, because the tool is being changed. And I thought the takeaway from that article was that the Meta is allowing Facebook to approve stages of the project with this new algorithm. So they're going to allow them to be part of the development, which is super interesting. I don't know how much they will in actuality, but man, that, government's really stepping in there and gonna oversee this project of this new algorithm for the housing objective.
Well, okay, so and it's someone again who has advertised in that space for 20 years, okay, and has known the this is not something that surprises me, and and I'm like, you should, like, it's just, we're used to it. I think it was a loophole potentially, right? It was a loophole which bad actors probably took advantage of. The reality was, most of anyone that I've ever worked with, and I've worked with some of the biggest residential real estate companies in the country, if not the world. They've been very mindful of that. So I think that as an institution, overall, they're less likely to have wanted to take advantage of that. And so I think, I don't think there's any fear. I think, where that might have maybe benefited some shadier agencies, the big players are not going to have a problem with that, because that's, they're mindful of those restrictions.
Yeah, I think everybody's mindful of it, but it was just naive. Everybody's just naive to the fact of what was really going on.
Well, I think,
everybody wants leads. Everybody's going to use the tool.
I just can't imagine. We've just launched a couple of projects where we're doing the social media and digital marketing, and I would never have I would just in good conscience could never have been like, we're only looking for these specific people. It's more about what we've learned and what, as someone with my experience kind of gained, is that it's like, it's got to be people in this economic background,
but even though
age group. Like,
we
would
have a younger demographic. Group. We select, outdoor activities. We still to get all our criteria, but in actuality, the algorithm was still.
Well, I guess that's why maybe to the extent of which they were sorting it. And again, but that's why it would be on their side, right? We can make selections, but we're not. If the algorithm is doing something more nefarious and more specific, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would never say it's got to be, Caucasian men in their 20s. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to go to that finite level of thing. You may say it's got to be people that make this much income. And we go to a large, just, peek behind the curtain in terms of what we do when it comes to prospect profiling. You're going to look at a wide variety of profiles, right? And say, look, this unit is this much rent for whatever this costs. Therefore, in that micro location, these types of people can afford that product, right? It's XYZ, right? And it's all kind of based on data in terms of what makes that up, right? And even then, you're never going to allow it to be race specific or really gender specific. You're going to always have to make sure that even if you believe that even if you can nail it down to such a finite prospect, you would never just target that. You just can't. First of all,
but it depends on, that takes us into our other article is, it depends on the AI and how it learns and what kind of models to learn on. Yeah, the racist AI.
Racist robot.
The racist robot.
Racist robot. That was very fascinating.
It's
is that
totally
they're
crazy.
pulling, because it pulls from racist data,
It pulls
right?
from racist data. Totally.
Which is
I mean, the
interesting.
data is racist. It's
Or let's say it's skewed. Okay, I don't think the data
It's-
itself is racist, but
well,
the data is
but
skewed
when it
based on
gets
biases.
when it gets analyzed and then it disseminates that information, it's hard not
Well,
for it to separate
it's the garbage in, garbage
profiles,
out,
you know,
right?
and
Yeah.
so we got to be really
We got a
aware
bunch
of what kind of models the AI is learning.
So let's riddle me this. If you have a racist AI, what color human skin does it have? Go to the human skin one. Pull up the human skin one, please. For the Terminators out there. So they've developed human flesh for robots.
Oh yeah.
Real human cells.
So are you
skin cells.
saying you're going to just naturally allow the AI to select its own skin color?
Well, we've now created skin for robots. It is human flesh. It is made out of the same cells. It's regenerative. It can heal, right? And it can go over the skin of a robot. So if they're racist, what color skin do they want? Do they get to pick it? That's a good question.
Yeah,
but isn't this creepy enough?
Select that. How do you let the AI learn and select that? Like you can build your own robot. You can build yourself.
You can build a meat robot. Like how? I mean, is this not bizarre? I mean, we're not seeing how is this the beginning of the end?
It's wet. It's a wet. Yeah, it's
a wet. It says it's wet and kind of gooey. Slightly sweaty. It's like me. Am I a robot? But I mean, how interesting it exists. The science is there. And again, it's like this exponential growth of science, which is that you tell me that there's not a lab somewhere where there's a freaky meat puppet robot that's like, if they have that thing, they're only showing you that because the other things are too scary to see. And we would freak out. But that's human skin on a robot. It's like the Terminator, man. It's like the Terminator.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've talked about the metaverse and AI, and this is more analog. This is more T200, what is it, T700, T800?
Yeah, we're definitely moving towards a matrix
T1000
future.
T1000, yeah.
Yep.
And then what about your now that'll parlay back into your VR headset, indistinguishable from reality, and the fact that they were saying, what was that, the 4 different headsets that they developed?
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. This is
How about this? Let's switch it up.
You're moving on. We're not talking about robot skin anymore. Okay. This is a cool. And we just all somewhat we like. In light of the upcoming 4th of July.
Yeah.
And barbecue season well underway, and us,
we
work with barbecue companies. What's that?
Do you guys use those anymore? Barbecue charcoals?
No, but I mean, I think a lot of people do, obviously.
I bet you there's a lot of people.
What a brilliant. Again, we talked about marketing.
What a brilliant way to burn your house down.
Hey, honestly, this could taste like absolute shit. Who knows? But
I would think that. That reminds me about, there's an old movie called Barbarians at the Gate, and it was about this R.G.R. Reynolds, and they designed a smokeless cigarette, and he said, "It smells like farts and tastes like dog shit."
But it's cool.
No one's going to
I got my Miller Lite charcoal for our barbecue today, and everyone's like, "Yay!" And it just tastes like shit.
It tastes like crap. Well, I would hope that I'm hoping that they would test it. Is what I'm saying. So maybe they test it. But what a smart. I mean, again, it's like brand synergies, right? It's like, why wouldn't you beer and you? I mean, maybe it's a gimmick. If it tastes good, then it's not a gimmick. If it doesn't do anything, it's a gimmick.
Maybe Jason needs to talk to Miller Lite.
Well, there you go. And we're at full disclosure. One of our clients is a grilling company. I'll say I want to go
you're going there. I wasn't going to say anything.
I just say they're a grilling company. So therefore, this is interesting, and that's why we found it fascinating, is because we're in that space. as well, you know, and from us, from a branding perspective, we're always interested in, you know, space.
Beer-infused charcoal will turn Miller time into griller.
It's griller time. There you go. That's a good tagline right there.
I like
it's
Miller
sold
Lite.
out. Again, sadly, the beer cola is sold out. So, boom. Again, these are the things that are successful.
Beer can chicken.
Drink.
No,
beer can chicken. Exactly. Beer can chicken. There you go.
Brilliant. And here's kind of where I think I see this going is again with, you know, recession looming and everyone freaking out. I think where you can really start to arm yourself as a small business, as a business owner, is to look for partnerships and collaborations, right? And that B2B connection where you can start to share audiences and bring brands together. I think it's a very, very smart move. So whoever's, and maybe Miller Lite didn't even do that. Maybe Miller Lite just went to it, they created their own. It looks like they did, but there's a really good opportunity for brands out there to kind of collaborate and you know, do some new things when, you know, in a recessional period where you're increasing your pool of
and elaborate on what you're saying there. So here's two. So one of two. If it's a joke, it's a marketing tool, right? So to them, it's like great. Like it was, you know, even if it's not a profit center, to them, it's got eyes on it. It's unique. It stands out on the shelf. It's fun, and people will buy it. And at the very least, they're going to see Miller Lite and be like, I want to buy Miller Lite. The amounts of money that these companies, beer companies spend, car companies spend on advertising is ridiculous. So for them to find something that cuts through the clutter is invaluable. So they're like, hey, why not, right? Okay. On the flip side, if it is a, you know, we'll talk about synergies. Like, wouldn't it be if Kingsford Charcoal was like, hey, Miller Lite, like we want to get you, you know, we want your audience. So we'll either buy the licensing of it, right? And we're going to get, then that's going to bring in your audience and our audience, right? Or Miller Lite may say, hey, we're just trying to sell and we got to get our name out there. Another advertising channel. It's advertising, right? So boom, shelf space, right? A shelf space in Jack Daniel's. There you go, boom, chips, right?
Yep.
Whiskey Barrel smoking chips. What a perfect time. Same deal.
Yep, you're gonna see a lot more of this.
For sure.
Whiskey wood chips. Now it's a good audience.
It's licensing. And talk about IP, right? It's IP licensing is all it is.
Yep. Exactly.
Especially if it's like, I bet you it's probably a wood chip company who pays Jack Daniel X amount of money.
Yep.
And says, let me put your logo and all this stuff on the bag, and we sell them. And they pay them. Maybe they get a percentage of each sale. Maybe they get a flat fee. But it's just licensing, right?
Exactly.
And it's like any other. It's like any tie-ins, right? Any product placement or brand tie-ins. It's when Marvel puts their stuff on cereal boxes, or when it's like whenever a new movie comes out. It's why it's since Star Wars, really.
Well, and look at how smart this is. Made from 100% Jack Daniel's oak aging barrels.
Oak barrels.
Brilliant.
And maybe it is. And you know what? Hey, that's another thing. Maybe if it is authentic, they're reusing their tens of thousands of barrels and they're selling them. They're not even recycling them. They're selling them.
It's awesome.
So they're making money on the back end. It's like when you get, like waste from product production. You say, hey, I'm going to package it and sell that as something else. Scraps, right? Bits and pieces.
Here's
that's the same.
Here's another example. My wife works for Big Agnes Tent Company. They do a lot of collabs with Burton. So they'll do a Burton. Yeah, I noticed your tent or your t-shirt area.
My tent? Is it a tent? What are you saying, Brad?
It turns into a tent.
Hey.
No, but they do a lot of Big Agnes Burton, which is a snowboard company. And so they're just tapping into their audience. Like, hey, we want those snowboarders.
Yeah.
Check out our tents.
Yeah.
Smart.
Well, I wonder too. So they say it's sold out. I mean, you're telling me before July 4th, nobody can get some beer coal?
Yeah, but who knows what the
No beer charcoal, no Macy's NFTs, man.
Go and visit your local dealer, your local store, and see if they've got some Miller Lite beer coal.
Beer
Is
cool.
it time for memes of the week?
Yes, let's do memes
Yeah,
of the week. I
let's
think
roll.
we've wasted people's time enough right now. Hopefully they got some interesting stuff. I was interested by some of
That
the
was
stuff people
very
about.
interesting when I was talking.
Yeah, I was very interesting. I think you heard yourself being interested, right?
Probably. I fool myself easily.
That's okay.
Wow, where's that?
That's Zach's desktop
That's
now. He helps them
Oceanside.
remember.
That's your Oceanside spot?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good view.
That's when he was running parkour over all the rooftops.
When you're Spider-Maning.
Yeah. Yeah, the pier, you can see kind of the pier is way out there. But that was fun. Oceanside's come a long ways over the past few years.
Oh. You said buy crypto. Yeah, that was tough. It's been a tough year.
That's
Tough year.
Yeah, but you got to keep it going.
Well, yeah, but it's like any other. I mean, I think it's like any other, asset, right? It's like I think it's down. Like it's down. It's gonna go back up.
I always feel like this is really with marketers as well. Market is down. What should we do? Lay off salespeople.
Yeah.
This is I feel like this is exactly what happens whenever the market starts to turn, right? All the high level, they cut all the marketing or the sales, everything that's bringing in the revenue, and keep our salaries. Yeah, I thought it was kind of an interesting. That was shared by the Randall. Randall shared with us.
The Randall.
No. He also shared this one with us. I love it because like he'll just send me, throughout the whole week, he sends me memes. It's kind of my content.
Are your
I can't wait
production
to actually give Randall some business. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on, hang in there, buddy. He's our biggest fan for sure.
Hang in there, Dizzle.
He's
when
our
your
audience.
talk goes viral, you know.
That's how you dress, dude. Those are sunglasses you wear.
It is. I love the haircut.
I did. That was like 2000, right? I think 97, maybe 98.
It's just glorious. I mean, what is this? He's got the Nike swoosh with.
But that is certainly not Nike.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but
that has Eastern European written all over it.
Yeah, true. I feel like this is 100% me. Is this the only one?
A little trash panda.
Right at the top of Google, and I'm like,
click.
Pay for it.
Yeah.
You're paying for this click.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've got to. You have to share this one.
Yeah, is that something that people even understand? I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like they pay for those ads.
Yeah.
So every time you click, if you really want to mess with a company, you hate a company, click on their ads.
Yep.
Click on their ads, their Google ads, because every time someone clicks on them, they have to pay Google. That's the whole point.
Yep.
So.
I mean, that will not. We got to keep living out.
Long live Johnny, right? The fact that it's okay to like support him now, it's like this is the first win where it's like everyone can take a deep breath and be like,
yes,
okay,
Johnny.
We can support him now.
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't put that together. Yes.
All right, this one's good. The new $1 bill design looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's oh god. What? That's an inflation joke. Oh, inflation jokes. Gotta love them.
Oh yeah, those will keep on keeping on.
Those never get old, right?
Man.
Those never get old.
And
pay them bills. Make it rain, Brad.
My wife was like, "What the hell is that on his face? What are you doing? You can't post that." But I just think it's too good.
Oh, jeez. Fact.
Yeah.
Cousin Larry? No, that's not Cousin Larry. Cousin Larry was the other guy.
Anyways, that's it. That's memes of the week.
That's it. Memes of the week. They're kind of sad this week. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but I'll help you out next time.
Yeah.
We'll get better ones. We'll get better ones next.
Well, I want to.
Well, very good week.
I want to start maybe saving the videos, but it's funny. It's crazy because sometimes the videos disappear. You know, there's a lot of video. The video memes are solid, but I don't have the patience or the fortitude to actually start to earmark them yet.
Yeah, right.
Transition to that. Be a little bit more entertaining. So.
It's very interesting. Sorry, I'm yawning. Everyone, sorry. East Coast. It's a little bit late here on the East Coast, so I apologize.
Well, next week, let's definitely dive into our contest a little bit more. We'll start to we'll roll out our contest, our weekly.
I'm going to tune in for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're still finding our way, but we're going to start to figure out our format here pretty soon.
We hope by Christmas we have two viewers.
Yeah, we're working on it. So we're not just talking to ourselves. But I think for those of you that are listening, hopefully there's some stuff that at least gets you thinking a little bit. It may not be, earth shattering, but I think if we can bring some interesting things to life, that's why I want to try and make sure that also we're going to try and give a little more insight into some of the strategy and theory behind some of the things that the people interact with on a daily basis, right? Just like simple things that we take for granted that we, understand how they work, right? Like a Google ad, right?
Yep.
And then the fact that you click on it, like they pay for it. Like it's just people don't understand those things.
Well,
or the idea that if you don't buy a product in the first click, you know what I mean? Let it sit, and you're going to probably get a better offer.
Get remarketed too.
Yeah, and maybe next week. I mean, again, because we've been doing it for so long, but maybe next week we just sort of take 10 minutes and dissect a funnel as far as through a marketer's eyes. Now it could be
kind of like what we did. Kind of like what we did with the Macy's thing there, right? Talk a little bit more about like how those things work and why they're doing it that way, and why it's this happens this way. So now you can have a little more education and like a little more, because a lot of people it's just way over their head. They don't understand that, how what's the science that goes behind these ads that they're seeing, and why they're written the way they are, why they are focused the way they are, especially in digital marketing, right? Where we all know it's like creepy that they're watching us, right? And we kind of dabble a little bit with the AI in terms of the housing stuff as well, but that advertisers can specifically target you. Yeah. And that's why, and the best, honestly, that's that Social Dilemma, that documentary on Netflix is the best. If you ever want to really understand the science behind digital marketing and social media advertising in particular, like that really goes into the detail. It actually does a pretty good job of explaining how it happens. And I think it's just if you don't, it's probably the best crash course you can get on that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Awesome.
All right, boys.
Good stuff.
Here's to you.
Here's
Whiskey
to you.
River.
By the way, so my daughter made me this Whiskey River bracelet. I'm gonna show everyone.
Oh my gosh!
It says Whiskey Wednesdays on it. Spelled it out. Spelled it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week, and that's
pretty cool.
Grand prize.
Cool.
That'll be the grand prize for our winner.
She's got to make two.
The bracelet? No, I'm keeping this forever. It says Whiskey Wednesday.
No, just have her make more.
Have her make more.
Yeah, she's got to make a couple more, man.
We should give these away. Then I got to show something though.
Be in the club.
I can get them to you guys though, that's for sure. Yeah, we can get them to you guys.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
It says WRM podcast.
What would Whiskey River do?
Right?
WRM.
Yeah.
Hey, we should get those made. That should be our new phrase. What would Whiskey River do? WWWF.
We can even have a question, comment.
What would Whiskey River do?
I'm writing that down, Brad.
If you really want, no, what we should do is we should buy a new URL, www.rd.com.
.e.
And the hero will be Jesus drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
What would Whiskey River do? It'd be you, Brad. You look like Jesus. Well, this
yeah.
you. Jesus
we are all
Mohawk.
Brad, we are all
Brad is our Jesus, and now we are outlawed in 20 states.
Just call me Brad.
Now we're outlawed in 20 states for blasphemy.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Have a great end of your week. And we'll see you again. See you next week. Yeah.
Later.
Thanks, guys.